here. Amazing cast out last series as we got to see another 2-0, but this is really going to be the test for these two teams right here as we get to the, I think, the winners finals between these two squads that everyone pretty much predicted would meet up at this point in the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, if you took a snapshot 3 years ago in the 2018 Worlds and saw the two best teams in the world, it was Sentinels, it was Cloud9, the formerly known as Splice roster. And these guys have been on top since, right? It's two juggernauts that know how to play Halo at the highest level, and both of them coming in so strong into this winners final.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see game types, because just exactly what you say as we take a look at those game types right now, actually, just like you said, they're coming in so strong, and these game types are really going to determine how this goes, just given the strength of these two squads. As we look across here, Oddball Streets is going to be our first game type. Any thoughts on that first one, Clutch, of what to expect between these two squads?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how long these rounds in Oddball go, because this can feel like a marathon if it's going to be a highly contested battle. But if one team has the leg up in the meta right now on Streets Oddball and is able to end this game one quick, I mean, in a best of three, they give themselves such a heavy advantage as far as knocking out the other team to the elimination bracket. So we're going to have to see how much practice, how much strategy these guys have developed in such a short period of time. We've seen Cloud9 dominate so far on the live broadcast. First time seeing Sentinels. Let's get it started.
That's right. Here we go. Sentinels versus C9, your winners final here in the HCS Open #1 from North America. Welcome along to the stream. So many of you joining us here with all the Halo Infinite hype, and we welcome you here wherever you're watching, because it has been an amazing day so far and only more amazing matches to come. Sentinels versus C9. We're jumping into Streets on Oddball for the first time. We'll talk about things like the rules of this game type and all that, but first we'll just get into the opening battle here. First kills do go in for Royal2.
Yeah, shocker. First kill goes to Royal2, one of the greatest slayers in the history of Halo, picking it back up for his 6th Halo. He's going to go pro at, I bet. He's already got rockets, going to make his way towards the Oddball, finds a nice kill on the StelluR, forced to back up, though, through the Stalker rifle up top. They do get the ball, however, out of that precarious position, and now they're going to be able to rack up a little bit of time.
Yep, Neon Cut's not the easiest place to pull the ball, just like you said, but they do go up Neons. They bring it all the way to Cafe, and they're just going to sit in Cafe, try to bait this. They'll get the trade there, which is going to be good, but it looks like going to try to be a push here from Eco as well. He's going to try to push back A. They will get another kill back Elbow, which is going to give them a little bit more time as well to coordinate this push.
So Sentinels gets the first opportunity to really get an Oddball set up the way they want it, and immediately it felt like Cloud9 applied some good amount of pressure, but they fend them off. They get the ball in the hands once again, and now they're racking up time. I love what we're seeing out of Sentinels, being able to rotate to help that ball carrier after he went down and still hold on to this objective.
Absolutely, blocking back A spawns. Doesn't look like PD spawns either, so right now they're just going to continue holding A and B, but B push is coming in right now, so they're going to need to drop and shoot here from the court. Balcony kill comes in there in the feed. It's a nice push, so once again going to be coming around from the back. That's LethuL, wins 1 in A, though. Needs to be very careful here, and he will go down as well to the hands of StelluR, so now the push will be coming from B and Neon Streets, respectively.
Yeah, the fact that LethuL was able to find a kill, though, is massive, because Cloud9 not able to rack up any ball time as the rest of Sentinels coming off spawn through the cafeteria area spot a few of these players. They're able to trade a couple kills, and the big difference here was Cloud9 had the tower side of the map with the ball on it, but haven't gotten any ball time. You saw Sentinels rack up a little bit of time, and now trades, every single time they traded, denied Cloud9 from being able to pick it up. The ball actually resets. It was on the ground so long, and because of it, Sentinels keep their early lead.
Rocket grab here does come in there. That's going to be SnakeBite, pulls that away, able to pick up one. Challenge on B stairs, though. Second rocket will not connect. Rockets will be out, and an exchange of kills there. Early on, 29-1 still in favor of Sentinels, as they will have all of the points on the board. And as we're already seeing, Clutch, you'd know it better than anyone, Halo Infinite already becoming a game of inches. Things like the trades that come in, things like the melees that come in, already being such a big factor in whether or not you're able to get control on a map like Streets.
Yeah, kills coming in either team right now. The ball not being too, like, neither team being too objective oriented, right? They want to get their slays first. Cloud9 feels very comfortable when they know that they can freely move this ball out, but unfortunately, Sentinels hasn't given them any room to work with.
And it's a pretty interesting moment here, right, Clutch? Because we're actually seeing, despite the fact of a 29-point hold there, as a trade will happen at A, despite the fact that we saw that early hold, it's actually been just teams looking for slaying control for the past, 2 minutes or so. It's been quite a long exchange. Finally, a ball grab will come in for the side of Penguin. He will rotate Cafe, check his B angles, and they'll have to hold here for just a moment.
Yeah, we saw 3 dead for Sentinels, so that was Cloud9's cue to get the ball, finally rack up some potential time, but the pressure, it's going to be on. Royal2, he gets taken down. Great job to stay alive here, find a kill for Penguin, and he's already been replaced Shotzi on this roster. It's just a matter of time for them to be able to compete for another championship. Show him that he can do the justice to Cloud9 fans that they deserve.
Yep, Penguin just bulldogging around the spawn there. Does well. Also sits in that notch pretty well. Another kill does come in from Renegade team. Shot on bottom middle as well. Might turn 3 here. There's a triple. Yes, indeed. Picks that up and will continue ball time. Has to drop and shoot at C. Can he finish? Gonna have to back down. The nade in his face. Gonna just wrap around and wants to finish this kill front C. Not happy without it. Gets the assist as well. Great stuff here from Renegade in back of the base.
Yeah, we can talk about LethuL, we can talk about Frosty, but if we mention those two, you have to refer to Renegade. Those 3 really competed for the best player at the end of Halo 5. It's no shocker that all 3 of those players are in the top 3 of this tournament so far, and they've all showcased their skills. Renegade doing it just like he used to back in Halo 5. Picking it back up, looking like an absolute monster.
StelluR able to also make the most of the rockets there. A double kill there on caution. Picks it up, rotates back B Streets. Great angles here from him. He does have one that does sneak in Streets. That's Royal 2 has to be cleaned up and has some help as well from Penguin with the ball there to do the job. And just like that, folks, what was once 29-1 is now 37-29, as it looked like C9 was just waiting for their moment to strike.
Well, as Sentinels got the first 2 set of rockets, they were able to fend off Cloud9 for a long period of time, but Cloud9, they get 1 set of rockets and you're seeing that entire game shift in their favor, because now it felt like they finally had control of the game. They finally had a lot of space to play with, a little bit of power weapons, and they finally got a lead, right? Only by 10 points, and now you're seeing Sentinels, now that those rockets are off the map, take control of this tram setup with the Oddball. He's in such a good position here, LethuL is, to be able to rotate this ball out if Cloud9 push down the street, but unfortunately they get cut off. 3 members go down for Cloud9, make it all 4 dead, and Sentinel's gonna rack up this time as they get closer to winning round 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they do cross the halfway mark. You hear that music and look like LethuL will be ready to drop and shoot when he needs. This is a great angle from Tram. Look at all the options he has. He can challenge all the way into B. Does see SnakeBite there, has to run back, so knows that there's going to be some B Street pressure, but able to drop and shoot from so many different angles there. And Frosty keeping an eye on B Street as well. Needs to be careful. If he's the first one down, that could bring an opening for the other side.
Yeah, here comes Cloud9 looking to break this setup. They've got a few kills under their mate. The thrust comes through, but the shots are followed by, and that was SnakeBite off screen. Now we're hopping on board with him, and we just saw him create so much of an opportunity for his team to break this Cloud9 setup.
Absolutely. It's a great job there for SnakeBite. You said it yourself, Clutch. That thrust really should guarantee top players a kill, and that's exactly what it does for SnakeBite. He's able to win that battle, and you can see just how much it meant for them. Now also continuing to challenge at Neon. Looks like Renegade in a little bit of trouble as well, and SnakeBite just going to continue to pressure here on back A. Not happy with the control they had. Actually turns it into a killing spree as well.
The killing spree, the route. He's being such a nuisance front to space. Never does someone come front tower from bottom middle, but SnakeBite does. He gets the killing spree. He opens up the map, but Cloud9, they've been able to slay out. Not only that, the ball is going to be incoming. Rockets are down as well, so much left to be decided in round 1, and unfortunately, it's going to continue that way as 3 members for Sentinels go down. They come off spawn, though, and Cloud9, they lose a few of their own.
Penguin eventually naded out, as you saw. The Rockets do come back into play, and just like that, 64-61. You really couldn't have asked for a better game 1 here. Everyone watching at home between these two sides, Sentinels and Cloud9 in our winners bracket finals. If you're just joining us here, neck and neck. Only 2 points separating them in round 1 of Oddball on Streets. Here's the push here from Renegade. Does see a player back C, knows he needs to clean up these kills at Tram. Able to pick up Frosty is the first one. Trying to find the second, has already been cleaned out. That will mean ball time for them, as we'll take a look at where the spawns might be, and they look like they're back A, back caution, and from B. So going to be coming from both sides of the map here on this push.
Now pay attention to the clock, ladies and gentlemen, because it stops when you're holding onto the ball. You're playing either to 100 seconds or to the round clock ends. 19 seconds and ticking as Renegade gets another kill off of the ball, picks it back up, but you're able to play both stories now.
Absolutely. Look at this now. Just 14 seconds left. Going to get help on that kill as well, and just going to sit and hold. You see, not actually grabbing, instead just baiting. Doesn't know that all the players are at quite a distance here as this clock is going to tick down here. It's going to go all the way to 1 second. That will be the first round that is going to go in the hands of C9.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was round 1 of game 1. We're still got 2 to go. If Sentinels has anything to say about it, it was highly contested from the start, but we saw Cloud9 find so much comfortability in that tram setup.
Ooh, looks like maybe players not moving off the break here. We'll have to see exactly what might happen, and if we'll have to see if we can jump into another match restart here. But as indicated by the players not doing too much, looks like it could be a match restart if I had to guess, based on what we're seeing here off of the rip. But maybe not. We'll see. We're going to continue on until we get word from our station referees. Yes, indeed, that will be it. As you see, first round though is going to be going in. I'm not sure. Oh, hey, what's up? What's up, Onset?
Hey, what's up?
How you doing,
I
Omar?
managed to get back on the show. What's up? I'm not Wes. Just to let everyone know.
Back into this show. You did sneak back into the show. We're probably going to get Clutch right back in here in a moment as we get ready for that. But I tell you what, it's a pretty good round one from Cloud9, and just continuing on there, Onset.
Yeah, it is. It's great to be back. I'm sorry, Wes. I didn't kick you off. I promise. It wasn't my doing. But I just wanted to cut some Halo, Andy, so I'm jumping back in. I'm not really, don't worry. Wes will be back. But what a game one it was. What a round one, I should say. It was. C9, one thing that really stood out for me and was impressive is about the tram hold, right? Every time that they had tram hold, it wasn't just about, holding the ball and holding off shots. It was the ability to drop the ball and then pick up slays as well. The recognition of when that push was coming and when they could get those first shots was superb. And that's what led to that round win.
And I think one thing we're also seeing, Clutch, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. Very rarely did we see the tram hold limited to just tram and B. It felt like they were always trying to get someone Neon's Cafe, even deep A elbow, or even bottom mid like we saw, just to really cause nuisance and get those angles that no one really wants to sit tram. They want to get way out of there. At least that's what we're seeing from C9 for sure. Yeah,
I think you definitely want to create space there. I think if you turtle inside of the actual tram itself, you're doomed, right? You're going to get sandwiched from multiple angles. You're going to get grenaded out. There's an icon over your head if you hold onto the ball, but I think Cloud9 did a phenomenal job, right? They extended a little bit of the map that they were able to play with, play for information, rotate accordingly. And with that, they were able to really gain some significant time. If that ball doesn't make it into tram, Cloud9 does not have the same success in that first round. I'd be very shocked to see Sentinels let that happen again.
Absolutely, me as well. We'll have to get word from our station referee here as well. Exactly what happens here in terms of that oddball reset with one round already on the board. We'll get word and we'll break down exactly how that's played through as well, just to make sure we understand how things are going to move in here. But let's go ahead and take a look at some highlights from that first round of oddball that we got to see, because it was quite a game, quite a fast-paced one that we expected to see here, Clutch.
Yeah, Streets being one of our smallest maps in Halo Infinite, it's always going to be fast-paced. And if we learned anything about this Cloud9 roster in Halo 5, is that they thrive in fast-paced environments. They were swarming on the players from the get-go. Sentinels got off to a hot start, getting a couple sets of rockets in a row. It really allowed them to trade efficiently, rack up some significant time. But the second that they let one slip through their hands, we really saw Cloud9 start to run away with it.
Yeah, we really did. What's interesting, too, you saw a little bit of chaos and carnage on that back A hold where teams weren't really that comfortable. This was the triple that came in from Renegade. He also drops and shoots here. Wasn't done just yet. Continues to hold back tram. A really good play from him. Somehow dodges that nade that was right at his feet as well. This was that play from Penguin bottom middle as well, just causing all sorts of trouble as well. And this was another example of a great tram push once again from C9 as they clean out the back of tram. And essentially that was the hold that let them close out the game. A very good win for them and a strong performance. By the way, StelluR, 20 kills on the board to his name in that round one. If you're just joining us, Sentinels versus Cloud9 in our winners bracket finals. Legendary Halo teams going up against each other here already in our very first Infinite Open tournament. All of these events, of course, this weekend, next weekend, and our Raleigh kickoff qualifier, all leading, of course, to the very first LAN still coming at the end of this year in December in Raleigh, North Carolina. So that's what teams are playing for here. Not only cash prizes in these qualifiers, but also those pool play spots in Raleigh in mid-December. That's where all eyes are set. These teams all want to close out the year, of course, with a win at the very first Halo Infinite LAN event.
Two teams not probably focused on just making it into pool play are the two we're featuring here in the winners finals. They have such high hopes, not only for this tournament, not only for Raleigh, but for their Halo Infinite careers. These guys want to be the best to ever do it. Sentinels, they've had such a long road of victories, so many wins throughout their Halo 5 days, even extended past throughout the past 3 years, where we jumped across from Halo to Halo to Halo, and they seemed to never back down. But it was this Cloud9 roster that was the thorn in their side at the end of Halo 5, and has been there ever since.
Yeah, teams that we're absolutely going to be watching, not just in the past, not just today, but undoubtedly through the future Infinite as well. As these teams load back into Streets Oddball, let's take a look at some of the new things you might be seeing in Infinite as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at Grapple, because you've already seen it used quite a bit. We saw Ola snagging some overshields earlier on Bazaar CTF, and we've already seen it used quite a bit for power weapons as well. Clutch, let's take a look at just how powerful this Grapple is. You think about, you put it perfectly. You do not have to OE, you do not have to overextend. I mean, look at that grab. You cannot really even put into perspective, another grab here from King Nick on the camo, how important it is that your grapple player goes for the power-up. It is so important in these games, Clutch.
Yeah, if you're able to land that, it's so key to getting your team even a further step ahead, right? We know what power-ups can do. Power-ups can swing the momentum entirely of a game, whether or not it's a camo or an overshield. Using that grapple to efficiently get that to you successfully without having to risk your life or become no shield in order to acquire it. I mean, it just gives your team so big of an opportunity to then find success. You saw King Nick, he does the jump on the Boo Plat, but you don't see it after. He ends up getting a few kills with that camo that could potentially change the tide of that game. Unfortunately, Cloud9 was too strong there, but needless to say, we're going to see this grapple being used to not only grapple power-ups, power weapons, traverse the map, but just all of these in between, right? There's so many different things and ways to use grapple efficiently and effectively that can change the tide of a game. That's what makes me most excited for the equipment story in Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly. The applications of grapple, I mean, you've already just look at some of the plays we're seeing from great players like Mint Blitz, etc. You're seeing unbelievable potential for grapple plays and the things you could do with the sandbox for sure. Pretty wild, and cannot wait to see how teams start to prioritize that grapple even more because of the power it offers. Let's also take a look at some different movement that we see in Halo Infinite as well, and a new medal, maybe not a new mechanic, Wes, because this is a pretty legendary really since Halo 3, but of course it's the Ninja here, and I guess the best way to say it is you hate to see it as you see it in the kill feed, but now of course you'll know, and everyone else will know on the map, Wes, when you do hit one of these ninjas on an opponent, because the kill feed certainly makes everyone aware.
You used to only find out someone got ninja by everyone going absolutely crazy, whether or not you saw it in the death cam or someone just yelling ninja. But now we made it a first-class citizen in Halo Infinite. We made it an event in the game that says someone just got embarrassed, something that just happened to someone that should not happen, and let's celebrate.
Yeah, it is, as it says in the feed, you do hate to see it, and if you do able to pick up one of those, the whole game, like we said, whether you're playing in a pro match like this or just on matchmaking, the whole lobby is going to know about it. Make sure you go ahead and screenshot that as well, so you can have the bragging rights about that ninja. But a lot of good mechanics coming in here in Halo Infinite. We'll talk about more of them throughout the broadcast as well as we get ready to get back into our winners finals. It was a great match, round one of Oddball on Streets, and can't wait to get back into this because, like you said, Wes, Streets, the closest quarters map, really a map that's full of so many important angles and such a fast-paced map, even in ball, the way they were able to hold it down. But like we started to see, places like B Stairs, places like the ball spawn, if you can stay alive and start to just really kind of ring around the rosy in those areas with rockets, or bulldog, or things like that, you can really cause a lot of damage. But let's take a look at the elimination bracket, because we just got an update here from our tournament admins that we do have an update of what's going on down in the elimination bracket, and our elimination semis are set. On this side, it's going to be KC Pioneers winning over Infernal 2-1. They will go up against Optic Gaming, which was a match that we saw earlier as well. KC Pioneers, just as a reminder, that's the team you talked about earlier, Clutch. That's Super CC, Druck, Soul Snipe, and Talik.
Yeah, I'm very excited for these guys to get their Halo Infinite careers underway. It feels like all of them are so new to the competitive Halo scene. And they really haven't had an opportunity on LAN, so Raleigh's going to be a big moment for them as well, but they're giving themselves a great seed for Raleigh already accomplishing that top 4 here this weekend.
Absolutely. Sentinels versus Cloud9. We're jumping back into game number 1. This will be round number 2 on your screen here of ball. As a reminder, Cloud9 able to take that first round of ball, meaning they will only be 1 round away from closing out this game. Sentinels facing elimination in this specific game here. They will lose game 1 if they lose this round, as we jump in right away. Once again, Sentinels versus Cloud9 here. It's Oddball on Streets.
If I'm Cloud9 here, I'm trying to get that ball into Tram as fast as possible, because they had nothing but success once they were able to do that in the first round of game 1. Here, a great opportunity for LethuL to not only pick up the kill, pick up the ball immediately, start scoring points. And once again, Sentinels has a great starting strat to get them an early lead, but what will they do with it this time around?
He's already getting collapsed so hard here from Neons, and he's going to have to just try to go bottom middle. You could tell he had nowhere to go there. Tried to make one move. It's going to be a kill there that does come in there for the side of SnakeBite. Frosty also picking up one in the feed as well. That's going to provide a little bit of an opening. No, but the front C damage actually all the way back. Tram is the one that cleans that up. So despite some early gains for the side of Sentinels, they're not actually able to close it out just yet or get really any points on the board. Just 9 there off of the opening break, and you could just tell by the POVs there coming in from LethuL. He had nowhere to go. Players were spawning B and they were at C, and he was not able to make any moves. They're forced to toss it bottom middle, so we'll have a little bit of a stalemate here in terms of slays off of the break.
Such a crucial kill Cloud9 was able to get on the SnakeBite, who was trying to jump up into that tires area with the oddball. If you don't get that kill, Sentinels is able to rack up 20 seconds at least of ball time. Because they get that kill, Sentinels is still sitting at that 9 seconds. Cloud9 stays in the game, doesn't get too far behind, and once again we're seeing the ball reset because it was in such a poor position for either team to compete for.
Finally, we'll go down there. That's Renegade, not able to connect on that melee either, and shots coming in here for Frosty, who has to tuck alongside Neons, and it's a pretty scrappy opening if we're honest, Clutch. This is both teams kind of showing a little bit more respect to each other in terms of wanting to get slaying control before they can actually make something happen.
Two go down for Sentinels, and that's Cloud9 grabbing the ball and immediately trying to get it back into the tram as StelluR. He gets immediately eliminated as he tried to carry it towards those brew grenades up the stairs, and now Cloud9 has to figure out a way to slay before they can get the ball the rest of the way.
Yeah, Renegade able to pick up one, finds one at B stairs and tires. Needs to be careful. They will hold for just a second at Neon Cuts, but they know the pressure's coming from Cafe and from back B. Those players are still there and just going to try to hold middle. We're seeing C9 use bottom mid. Actually, both teams really using bottom mid quite a bit here to, like you said, be such a nuisance and just flank around to pick up some extra kills, clean up those one shots. Rockets do go into A, and C9 just going to hold here. They do see a player on balcony and A, and they'll lose that battle. However, the ball hold will continue, and it's a bit, admittedly, a bit of an awkward one. Still sitting right on the ball spawn, but to be honest, you're going to see Cloud9 happy with that. They take the lead here after a Sentinel's only able to put a few points on the board off the break.
A massive kill from Renegade is going to slow down the rest of Sentinels pushing. They had a 3-man advantage, but Renegade turns it into just 2. That allowed StelluR to find a second pick as well, and now Sentinels, you thought that they were going to clean break Cloud9's setup right there so easily, but no, one kill can switch everything, and Cloud9 buys enough time to stop Sentinels from getting any time once again. And this is why Cloud9 is so difficult to play against, right? Like, it just, if one player on the team makes a play, it can extend their opportunity in the game so long, and they just have a team full of playmakers.
And StelluR stays alive so long, they're eating some nades. Finally, C9 moves the ball from the ball spawn for the first time and is able to move it all the way back here into the tram, and even the check in the corners there, Frosty. We talked about it earlier. Expect players to check those corners in Halo Infinite. Probably been the most important it's been in a very long time in a Halo game, to make sure that there aren't players around these nooks and crannies as you clear out bases. And now finally, Sentinel's going to be on the prowl once again. They're going to be pushing here on balcony. The ball will finally go down front. It's a little bit of a semi-play ball, but Renegade in the back of tram there takes him down.
Renegade was actually the ball carrier. He threw it over the bridge, trying to make it very difficult for Sentinels to guess which way he was coming from. He's able to find a kill, stop the push from Sentinels again, and with this ball being in tram, you see Cloud9's score has shot up to 47.
Yeah, just like that, really unanswered points. As you saw, we started the game off 9-0, so C9 picking up right where they left off after round number 1. Frosty's going to sit B stairs, just desperately trying to still get an angle on StelluR. Doesn't see anything, though. Does see a player PD on caution. Has to double back with the thrust. Wins the battle so nicely. Was down a shot, however, using that so well to win that battle. Now still going to try and see once again.
I mean, Frosty is waiting for the rest of Sentinels to catch up so that they can push together into this space. But unfortunately, Sentinels hasn't been able to make it across the map. Frosty is forced to sit back because he knows if he goes in there alone, he's going to be dead to rights. But the entire time, you see Cloud9's score has continued to climb. It's up to 85, and now with just 10 points needed to end this game.
Absolutely perfect hold. This is exactly what they wanted to do. They finally got the ball to tram. It looked like the writing was on the wall. 5 points away for them to close out this second round and the game. Clock will tick down. 0 pressure on Eco. He will have some celebratory melees there as they will take that round and game number 1 due to that restart. They'll close it out with a score of 2-0. And I gotta say, Clutch, Eco just looking way too strong there.
Very dominant performance from all of Cloud9, really. I mean, it was Renegade making the plays with the ball back to base. The second they got light, StelluR got a few kills when he probably shouldn't have. And because of it, I mean, this Cloud9 team continues to build momentum off the individual plays that they make. They're such a strong, aggressive team. But apparently, when they get that ball into the back of tram, they know exactly what they're doing.
And that was a little bit interesting there, Clutch, because admittedly, there was a little bit of strange hold bottom middle where we actually saw C9 get their first 20 seconds or so on the bottom middle hold. They hadn't moved it to Tram. You have to think that was simply because they didn't think they could get to back Tram to block those spawns appropriately in time to do so. But a little bit of unconventional start there in terms of that bottom middle hold.
Just shows you how aware that these players already are 5 days in the game. They knew that they weren't going to be able to transfer the ball into the Tram with the angles that Sentinels was going to have from the top stairs in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
They forcibly just stood still, waited for Sentinels to kind of overextend, push, have an advantage pushing towards them. And then Cloud9 was able to get a few kills and capitalize, rotating that ball perfectly into a position that they now want to hold for the rest of the game, in which they did.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some highlights from that last round that we just saw. And in the end, the score was pretty similar, but as we said, a bit of a different start here. We'll take a look and walk back through some of those moments here. And this was the opening that we talked about. Really strong one this time from Sentinels here. As we take a look, actually, I think we got game 1 highlights as well here. Excuse me, round 1 highlights as well. So we're seeing from the entirety of those 2 rounds as we took a look at, once again, a little bit of an interesting start too, because we also saw a back A hold in terms of back elbow hold from that first round as well. So unsurprisingly, it took a little bit of time for the teams to get comfortable, but once they did, it was really all C9, all back Tram, Clutch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was sparked by Renegade, right? That triple kill in round 1 kept his team afloat, allowed for his teammates to come off spawn and continue the setup that they had. They have such a good idea of how to keep this ball in the back of Tram and how that player drops the ball and slays and stays alive to buy his team time to spawn up and flank. I mean, it's perfectly executed from Cloud9, and to be so early into Halo Infinite and already see a setup that strong, you're gonna have to see other teams adapt and evolve around them because they have no reason to change as of now.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. As you saw that clock tick down, that'll be a clean 2-0 for Cloud9. But we talked about at the beginning of the show that there is definitely a seal gap this early in the game between these sides. And one could say we're already starting to see that develop and be on display here. StelluR on Recharge is up next here, Clutch, a game type that you and I haven't got a chance to cast just yet, as we're going to see it on display. Obviously, it's going to play, once again, very different from Ball and Stronghold in terms of the pacing and the flow of the way that these pushes are going to go.
I've had an opportunity to watch Cloud9 play Recharge a few times, whether it was StelluR or Strongholds, and they do such a phenomenal job of anchoring top yellow and top commando. Whichever side that they spawn on or want to control, they do such a good job of peppering down damage and making it easier for the rest of the team to find multi-kills. If they're able to have that same success, this series could be over shortly. Sentinels, on the saving grace of what you can look at for their team to have success, they got off to 2 hot starts in those rounds. They need to continue to get off the hot starts, but they have to figure out a way to keep those legs standing as we enter the mid game.
Of course, and now StelluR Recharge. This is going to be a time where we're really going to start to see the power up on display here and become a much bigger factor than it is sometimes in Strongholds or Ball, just because when you do have a lot of priorities like that, camo tends to become a little bit secondary, and then the power up bottom middle becomes a little bit secondary. But instead, we're going to be keeping an eye on exactly how all of that plays out and the angles that these teams will need to watch. You see, of course, Grapple will be on display as well. That camo bottom middle team's going to be gunning for that because it can really create an opening, especially in a map like this where the angles and the routes will be so important. Swords spawning out back behind that C turbine as well, and some manglers on the wall. And we'll have to see if a team like Sentinels can bounce back here and force us into a game 3. We admittedly haven't seen too many game 3s throughout this broadcast just yet here, but Sentinels certainly going to want to send this one the distance if they can. Sounds like we're going to go ahead and get into that game in just a minute. But Clutch, any expectations here off of the rip between Sentinels and Cloud9? You talked about top commando, top yellow, how important those are in the StelluR. What are the other things that these two teams need to be working with and worrying about?
I think the obvious one is camo, and I think that typically every 2 minutes when that power up is coming up, you're going to see hyper focus on that camouflage coming up and how teams go about trying to successfully accomplish not only getting the camo, but keeping your guy alive that gets the camo, because it being bottom middle, it's a contestable spot from almost anywhere on the map. It's going to be very difficult to secure that without a few kills in favor of your team in order to stay alive once you get it. The other thing on the map that may come into play, it may not, is the sword. The sword can be extremely powerful, especially because you can't get kicked out of sprint with it. But sometimes these high-level games are going to be so fast-paced that players are not going to think that the sword can weigh heavily enough into it being worth to go all the way out of your way to go pick up.
Right, it does feel like it is definitely one of the secondary, if not tertiary, priorities on the map compared to other items that we see on display. Another note there on grapple on screen, of course, you do need to rotate quite heavily to be able to actually grapple the power up to you, which is an interesting note. We'll see if teams do try to get the grapple away from batteries and more like around A side, around tower and around blue and control to actually use that grapple power. We're jumping right in now, taking a look here at LethuL's POV off of the break.
Yeah, LethuL gonna try and contest mid bridge right here. He sees a player blue plat and top yellow. He's forced to back up, knocked the no shield. He's got 2 players pushing that player top yellow, which should mean we see Sentinels come up with a few kills here, potentially get a little bit of space top yellow, but unfortunately LethuL just forced to kind of slow play it. Nobody going for camo as of yet, and this could be the opening LethuL needs, but unfortunately he's surrounded.
Wow, player pushes elevator. That's StelluR, who looks like he might be able to pick up 2 here. Yes, he does. StelluR able to pick up 2 in the back of elevator. That's going to be big, and that's going to open things up for them, as now we take a look at Penguin's POV, and now taking a look all around teammates and finding that players are going to be all around top A, also top yellow and top attic still.
Yeah, it was going to be Cloud9 that was able to secure that camo. I believe it's one of the other players other than Penguin, but Penguin wisely playing slow is able to find not one, but a perfect shot.
Oh my.
It's a triple kill for Penguin, and that's exactly how Cloud9 wants to press this Sentinels team in game 2.
And they're going to keep this up. Another kill assist does come in. Now seeing players all spawn around plat, all around back blue. They're going to be around that sword that we talked about. Going to have a pinch here from the attic angle as well. Up 8-2 at this point. Finds SnakeBite early. SnakeBite able to get some good shots off, but not fast enough after being down a shot. Killing spree here for Penguin off the rip. He leads the game in kills by quite a margin, and going to be very happy with his angle. Look how they fly in towards A together. Now rotating right away to pipes. Going to check to see if anyone's coming there. Not just yet, but knows that there's going to be players around here in the back. 2 red X's means he has to be very careful around the corner. LethuL was ready for the pipes push. He will pick that one and try to keep it within a distance, but my God, it's already double the score of their opponents here for C9.
I thought Cloud9 was going to be in such a good position there when they had those players trapped top elevator, but they opt to push in on them, and unfortunately they trade kills. In that situation, when you have complete map control, you're not looking to trade. So good job by Sentinels to weather the storm. Now only down 6. It could have been a lot worse for Sentinels fans from the Cloud9 perspective, that they weren't nearly as aggressive, but that's Cloud9. They don't stop. They just keep pushing.
That's it. Nice little grappled sword play there from Frosty to show that off for just a minute, but not going to stop them from being down by 5 at this point, 16-11. Renegade challenging Frosty bottom middle is a nice win from Frosty on the double stack. He will stay alive and see if he can continue to rotate with the team here. Now just a 3-kill game. Sentinels starting to answer back.
Frosty has players above him, able to spot Eco, land a nice mangler shot onto one, turns around, might hit the stick, doesn't actually, but stays alive, and a few kills go in Sentinel's favor. Unfortunately, player drops down on Frosty, takes him out, and Frosty could have had a real opportunity to flank those Cloud9 players.
Absolutely, and maybe even a repulsor opportunity there as well. I think you and I are probably thinking the same thing, maybe sending a player off the back of the map. It doesn't come through this time, but this is right back into the thick of it, despite being down by 6 earlier. Sentinels answering back, showing why they are also one of the most talked about teams, not just in North America, but in the world in terms of competitive Halo here. Just like that, it's an 18-16 game, and we have a fantastic game 2 on our hands here. Battle right now over control.
Yeah, looks like the battle for control is won by Royal 2 and SnakeBite, as we see multiple kills go in their favor. The game now in Sentinels' hands. They've got it tied up. After such a dismal start, they've been able to turn it around. They found their footing on the back of Frosty, 7 kills.
LethuL will finally go down there on the attic. Penguin starting to push as well. He does have some teammates also pushing in back blue, and you saw a player starting to make the long haul push as well. Penguin wisely checking back Turbine and Whirlpool, and does know that the players are here, just hasn't spotted them on screen yet. Now here they all are at once. It's a good team shot that wins that one. StelluR is able to pick up 1. Can he pick up 2? Grapple goes out. Maybe could have hit the melee too late in the end, and a nice double team comes in from the side of Sentinels, keeping this game very close here, 23-25.
That's the second time we've seen Cloud9 trap Sentinels top elevator, and they continue to push into elevator and trade unsuccessfully. They have to figure out that that's not the strategy to work with, right? If Sentinels is trapped in elevator, like, there's no reason to push them, right? They're not going to go anywhere. You're going to have sight lines on any exit that they potentially have. You can potentially just work picks, and when you have numbers, look to push in. But unfortunately, Cloud9 a little bit too all gas, no brakes.
Absolutely, you're so right there. There's limited exits out of elevator. Take a look, top A, bottom A, and really Whirlpool. Those are the only way. There's only 3 doors to watch for 4 players. They could have had the trap there. They get a little bit overzealous, but if there's one thing, ooh, nice little shot there through the stairs. Coming in from the side of Royal 2, takes down Penguin, as also a double kill comes in, killing spree. Help from top attic as well on that. That's going to give them a little bit of a closer advantage here, as I'm now going to try to tie the game just like that. Now 31-29 is going to be the score for the side of Sentinels, and they'll start to grab a little bit of a lead here.
Just a 2-kill lead for Sentinels, but a lot of room on the map to work with. They're going to know that all of Cloud9 is going to be stuck in that yellow area. Are they going to be aware of which side Cloud9 is trying to push out is the question.
Absolutely. Now taking a look at top batteries, also taking a look at top attic. The nades do go through, not aware that the opponents are actually, as you can see, not exactly where they're thinking around top attic. So head on a swivel, just a 1-kill game here. An amazing game number 2 recharge slayer between these two teams in the winners finals. StelluR with a first base slide, trying to fly in there and able to land a few nice shots. Very difficult to track that opponent. Shots coming from top yellow as well from Eco. That will be Royal 2 going down to control. Pretty important position there.
I mean, Sentinels just had so much map control and they lost it on the flank of Renegade, going bottom knockback, flanking around blue and working with StelluR to clear out those players in control. If they weren't able to do that, Cloud9 was going to be probably looking at a few kill deficit, but now they have once again, they have Sentinels stuck towards elevator, pushing pipes, and this is exactly where Cloud9 wants to be. Unfortunately, Sentinels able to push through pipes fine too, and now regain the lead once again.
Absolutely, just like that. Here we go. Now trying to win a battle control. StelluR is going to pick up that one instead. He's going to just try to hold this angle on bottom control as long as he can. The eyes right now are on the power-up. Very important power-up here that is popping, and it will really determine how this game goes. And it's actually going to be grappled and grabbed right away there, as we do see. I believe it's going to be Eco bottom middle. There's a sword trailing him, though, so we will want to keep an eye on that bottom middle just to see how this plays out. Eco, you can tell, is in an engagement here on bottom middle, but is able to stay alive. That is huge. Now Renegade with sword in hand as well. They will retake the lead 37-35. A 2-kill game here. Players getting stuck in long haul as well as top attic on the side of Sentinels.
I think what we saw there was a Sentinels player grapple camo to him, and as soon as he activated it, Eco was there with sword to get the kill quickly to where camo was eliminated from the map. That's such a crucial kill because that camo player would probably be wreaking havoc on Cloud9 right now. Now it's Eco still staying alive with this sword back. Who's going to try and get the kill. The player pushes in, and Frosty doesn't expect Eco to have that sword in his back pocket.
Here's SnakeBite checking on that as well. Going to see what might be left. It's Renegade. He's going to be able to pick that one up. Finds 3 players. He's able to pick up 2. Does he get the stick? No, can't turn 3. So this game will stay within 2. 41-39 right now in favor of Cloud9. Looking to close this out despite, once again, the earlier lead from Sentinels.
Such an incredible play from SnakeBite to attempt that 3 kills with the stick. Oof. The stick comes through this time around, and Sentinel's able to find 1 over in control, but it's traded out immediately, 40-42.
Just like that. Now let's take a look at old grapple here on pipes, and looks like StelluR will go down. SnakeBite, the one that picks up that kill. He's also going to have more kills coming in the feed. Has Penguin with the great challenge there from long haul. Frosty's going to be the one that now tries to find those players that might be around long haul and attic. They need to be careful because several players just dropping. Now it's a good team shot. That brings them to 43-35. Cannot afford this death from StelluR. Has to go sneaky and also has to stay alive. StelluR not letting it happen. Picks it up 46-43. Only 4 kills to go here for C9.
StelluR has so much information that multiple players are top blue. He's going to wisely back up, play his life, and wait for his team to get near him. They have Sentinels on the ropes right now by control. Camo is going to be coming up shortly. Roll 2. Jones out, no shield. Able to find the kill on his StelluR, but loses his life immediately. 47-46.
Just like this, 3 more kills to go, and Sentinels have brought it right back, even looking to tie this game right now as well. All trapped around here, control and long haul. Let's see if the push does come in from Eco. He's flying around the corner. They pick up 1. Can they pick up 2? Now 48-46. Now maybe only 1 kill away. Yes, 49-46. Looking for that final kill. It's certainly around long haul as well as bottom attic. It will go in. Frosty will be, looks like, the last one to die. Cloud9 will win this series 2-0. 50-46. They will close it out, and Cloud9 continuing to look good, not only in the skins, but also in the department of the slays there. They will close out the series clutch. Game 2, 50-46.
You love to see that bait and switch at the end where they pushed into control. They got good damage and they pushed into control, got the first kill, challenged SnakeBite to where he was no shield, and the second player comes out of nowhere around the corner. They wisely back, one player backs down, the other one switches the spots. They're able to trade, they're able to effectively get kills without trading. And that was really the difference at the end of the game, right? That buddy system that Cloud9's known for using in Halo 5, well, it's carried over to Halo Infinite.